Welcome, welcome everyone. This is Simon Cornelius coming you from live from the big state of Texas. And I want to first of all appreciate you for taking the time and the energy for tuning in. It's a Tuesday. We know you could be doing other things right now than listening to these fabulous four people around me. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up because 90% of success is just what? Just showing up. So like I said, I'm Simon Cornelius. I'm in the big old state of Texas, and let's go around the country and introduce you to who will be on the panel tonight. Cheryl, ladies first.
Hello, this is Cheryl Samet. I'm the working mompreneur from Atlanta, Georgia. How y'all doing tonight?
And Steve.
What's up, guys?
Okay, hi guys. I'm Jorge, the Hispanic Ninja. So anything in Spanish, that's I guess with me from Miami.
And the guy who's watching the World Cup, the World Cup fanatic, right?
World Cup fever, World Cup fever.
There's only one thing that Jorge knows almost as good as social media. It's who's who in the World Cup. So if you have anything that you want to hear about the World Cup, Jorge is your guy right here.
We'll find a way to know it.
I think England's already out of the running, aren't they?
Sorry, say it again, please.
Didn't England already get cleaned out of the running?
I hear an echo.
So is England not in the running anymore?
No, they're still playing the first round. They just finished this week. I mean, it's only been 5 days, 17 games already. The first week, so nobody's eliminated yet. Maybe at the end of this week we start seeing teams being knocked out.
All right. So there's still a chance that England will win the World Cup, right?
Soccer around the world.
Awesome, awesome. Well, tonight, guys, and by the way, just do an audio check. I shut down everything on my computer except for this one window here. Is my audio still echoey?
I hear you loud and clear.
Good.
It's better,
Excellent. Jorge, it's good on your side too?
Good.
All right, so I guess, I don't know why some of these windows would have echoed. There was nothing there, but you never know. This wacky world of technology. So guys, tonight we're going to go through the topic of getting traffic, because part of the whole concept of social media, people do business for three reasons, and it's online or offline. People do business with other people because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So it's know, like, and trust. And so when you go out there and get traffic, people have no idea who you are. So you want to give them something of value so they can connect with you on some level. If it's knowing who you are, if it's the World Cup person, then it's Jorge you go talk to. If it's the dentist or the eye doctor person, it's Steve. And if it's being an engineer, it's Cheryl, or painting or blogging, it's Cheryl, and everything else, I guess, is me. So, almost. So, we want to talk about how we generate traffic, some sources of generating traffic. So today is going to be one of these where if you have a pen and paper, go ahead and pull it out right now. If you haven't got a pen and paper, go ahead and hit pause and come back. We'll give you about 15 seconds to go and get some really quick. Anything to write down notes because we're going to go through a ton of strategies tonight. Okay, makes sense? So we've already had, we've had a couple of webinars ago we talked about this subject. We touched on the subject of traffic because if you're having an offer or a blog or anything that you want to drive traffic to, first of all, you have to get traffic. True? So there's really three parts to a business. Number one, you have to get traffic. Number two is to get traffic. And number three is to turn that traffic into leads and sales. But the first part of any business is mindset. So let me recap there in case I confuse you, because it confused me. Number one, the base is always mindset. So you can't be in business with a crappy mindset, true or true. So first of all, get your mindset right. Number two, drive traffic, because no one's going to just come across you and go, hey, let's go check out this blog of this person we've never heard of before. So you have to drive traffic in, and then you do sales and conversions. That's step number 3 there. So tonight, let's talk about how we generate traffic. Now, there's 2 ways of driving traffic. One is free, and one is paid for. So let's just touch on the subject of the free traffic sources right now. So I'll just ask Dr. Steve to share with us some of his sources for free traffic.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, look, I mean, traffic's the lifeblood of any business, right? If you don't get your eyeballs, don't get any eyeballs, no pun intended, don't get eyeballs on your offer or your website or your blog, then why are you even out there? Because nobody's going to see it. So one of my favorite free traffic strategies, and since I get to go first, I get to pick the easiest one, is social media. And when I say social media, I don't just mean you go and you put something on Facebook. Social media is so big, it's so all-encompassing that people just think social media, they think you're talking about either Facebook or Twitter. But there are so many different social media platforms that you can use to create free traffic to your whatever, your blog, your website, your offer, your product page, whatever it might be. So the thing is, what we teach guys is you want to have as many social media accounts as you can. And there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them, and people use them oftentimes as their first primary search engine. People don't always go to Google. Some people use YouTube as their primary search engine. Some people use StumbleUpon. Some people use Pinterest. So you want to have as many social media accounts as you can, and then what you want to do is you want to create something that you can post easily to all of these different platforms, all pointing back to the exact same place. Because you want to build a following on all these places, obviously, but the goal is to get as many eyeballs clicking on that link and going back to the source material, whether it's your blog, again, your website, whatever it might be. But social media is the best one. It's the easiest one simply because so many people use social media, right? I mean, there's over 1 billion people on Facebook alone, and that's just one of them. So I would encourage you to leverage all the different social media platforms, even YouTube. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but YouTube is also a social media platform for videos, and we've talked in other webinars about backlinking, cross-linking, cross-promoting, and you can do all of that ultimately to lead to the same place. So that's what I would start with. As far as free strategies, social media is probably number 1 on top of that list.
So Steve, for the audience's benefit, and one of the things that you'll notice that we do is because we've been doing this a while, and sometimes I know there's questions come up, like for example, Steve, someone might ask us, well, let's say Facebook, for example, how would you have a blog over here, and how would you get a link on Facebook? Where would it go? Would it be on your profile, or where would it be to point over to this blog? Just maybe expand upon that, if you would.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because first of all, it really depends on who you're targeting. Your offer is going to a certain demographic. You have to know who your audience is. You have to know who your target market is. So sometimes that link or sometimes that post is going to go in a group, right? It'll go into a Facebook group that's a bunch of people that are in that group that are interested in that particular subject matter material. Sometimes it might go on a fan page. If you have a fan page with hundreds or thousands of fans that are interested in that subject matter, that would also be a good place to put that content or that link. Sometimes it'll just go on your timeline. If you have a lot of friends, hundreds of thousands of friends on Facebook that are interested, share a common interest in that particular subject matter, it's a good place to put it as well. Or you can put it in all those places. There's really no limit to where you can put information on Facebook, but you want to target the key, and I think that's probably what you were getting at, Simon, but the key to this, guys, is know your target market, know who you're marketing to, who should be looking at this particular link, and then where should you be putting it, because you want to make sure there's some synergy there between where you're posting that information and who's actually going to see it, because it will increase the likelihood of someone actually clicking on it and then going to the material that you're promoting anyway.
That's so true, and it's the old marketing mantra that we have is good marketing is what happens when you get into a conversation that's already going on in someone's head. So if you're posting to a group, say, of people looking to work from home, well, guess what they're asking? They're looking for a home-based business opportunity, and that's where they're hanging out. Not at the gardening groups on Facebook, but the home business opportunities. People looking for work or some other ways to be an entrepreneur. That's where they're hanging out. So that's a very good point, Dr. Steve. So, Jorge,
Yes.
I think you've had some good success with some free advertising strategies.
Yeah, yes, I've had, but I want to elaborate a little bit more on what Steve said about the target audience. Social media is, imagine yourself, you have a regular business, and when you go and advertise on TV and radio, what happens is that you don't want to go to everybody. Why? Because you're really not a cookie cutter. You want to have a very specific target audience, just the way you have a regular business. So you have to be very strategic in where you want to go. I mean, yes, you can place it everywhere in Facebook and everywhere in all the groups, but then at the end of the day, what happens is that when you put something of interest to a certain group, they're not going to pay attention because the previous things that you have done or posted in that group, they don't like them. So you lose effectiveness. Now, my advice, I don't like to give advice, but what I do is I think as like, where would I look for certain information, and that's the way I put my titles, put my stuff, put my group in certain areas. Right now, we mentioned earlier, we were talking about the World Cup. I could put the World Cup basic information everywhere on Facebook, on social media, absolutely everywhere. But are people that doing coaching going to look at it? Maybe, probably not. But people that are more often groups of sports group or soccer groups or educational group in terms of fitness and exercise will probably look at it more. So the day of tomorrow, if I put something about coaching or anything like that in the coaching group, people are not going to pay attention because I slammed them with so much information that they don't want. So you have to be very careful. Again, you got to be very strategic, and it's not about quantity but about quality of the kind of information you give to the people. So you could have only one person read it, but that's going to be a sale, which is at the end of the day is what counts. Simon?
Yeah, absolutely. Cheryl?
You know, one of my favorite ways to get traffic is through my blog, and specifically using search engine optimization, or SEO as the famous acronym is. And for my viewers watching tonight, first of all, thanks for being here. But you know, if you're new to blogging or new to the internet marketing or new to the website world, SEO is just keywords. Think about the keywords that you use, or excuse me, not even keywords. Let's just I'll get basic here. Think about when you're at that Google search bar where you type in what you're looking for, how to fix a leaky sink. That is a keyword phrase. And anyone who is trying to provide value to the world in the form of information about how to fix a leaky sink, you're going to find their website by doing that simple search on Google. So that's just a basic way of looking at keywords and that fancy term of SEO, search engine optimization. I write my blogs using keywords, and I rank on the first page of Google using keywords. So if I write an article about how to fix a leaky sink that you're searching for tonight because you got the drip happening in your kitchen, you're probably going to find an article that I wrote about how to fix a leaky sink, because I employ all of those keyword phrases in my blogs. So I really enjoy using keywords as a way to generate traffic to my website.
Exactly.
That's awesome, Charles. Again, it's actually getting into the conversations that people are having in their head. Once you understand that concept, your target market, what do they think and what pains do they have? What pleasure do they want? So I heard this phrase, I'll have to paraphrase it, by one of our teammates called Josh Shanley. And help me out, because I know some of you guys were on this. It was get less pain and more pleasure, or something like that. Less pain, more pleasure. And all it really meant was, hey, I understand your pain. You have a leaky sink. Let me show you how to fix it in 3 easy steps. And that's all people want to know. I hear you have a problem. let me help you fix it. Like Dr. Steve, he's an eye doctor. Someone goes to him because their eye hurts. He says, let me come in, or come in and let me help you fix it. True or true? And so I'll round out the free stuff with, which one? There's so many. I'll just choose Craigslist. Craigslist at one point was an absolute gold mine, and it still is to a certain degree, because there's people out there who are looking for something, like if it's a job, for example, there were opportunity seekers, people looking to do something for money, to exchange their skills for money. And some people still are. And in fact, I did, gosh, I was getting about 25 to 35 leads per day out of Craigslist, out of like one state of business opportunity seekers, and that lasted a good while. I haven't done that for a while because I've been focusing more on paid strategies, but Craigslist is also a great way. I think, Steve, weren't you doing something in, what was it, the events, if I'm not mistaken, and there was something else you were doing?
Yeah, well, Craigslist has, a slew of places where you can promote for free. One of them is, you could do classes, you could do events, you could do jobs, and the trick is to find the categories where you can post and promote for free.
Right.
Because people are on Craigslist all day looking for stuff. So if you have a catchy title, if you have an eye-catching phrase, like Cheryl said, keyword that people are looking for, odds are they're going to click on your ad, click on your link, and read more about what you posted on Craigslist, and then just kind of follow along, and you can lead them right where you want them to go.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. So,
yeah, in fact, I would venture to say that some people use Craigslist as one of their main search engines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. We talk about search engines. Google is just one of many. Like YouTube, I was on there this week because I'm looking for, my wife's car had the check engine light come on, and need to change out the spark plug, which is not so easy as it used to be when I had my first car. So I went to YouTube and how to change the spark plugs on this type of car. There's a bazillion videos on how to change spark plugs. So it's just an absolute goldmine of what people are looking for. Let's move on into some paid advertising techniques here. And some are it's all relative, right? You could spend, let's say you could get a roadside banner in the good old days. You could, and I think it was like $10,000 a month or $7,500 a month for a banner on the side of the highway. And now people are too busy twiddling with the radio and checking their phone, driving down to work, that they don't see the billboards anymore. So what are some of the things that we can do to really leverage our money, not spending thousands and thousands of dollars? We want to be smart about this, right? We want to invest a little bit of money and eventually at the end get a lot of return about it. So let's start with the ladies first. This go around, Cheryl. Have you been doing much in the way of paid advertising?
I've actually not done a lot of paid advertising. I've had some good success with the free advertising, so I like to push the limits of free traffic generation until it slows down. But I do have a real estate friend of mine who uses print magazine as advertisement, and I know that's, like you said, extremely expensive, but in the real estate world, as in other business worlds, there's quite a good rate of return if you do gain clients from expensive print advertising. So I know some folks that do have success with mailers and other like large volume printing advertising for their business opportunity and regular traditional businesses too.
It's all about numbers, right?
It is.
You can spend $100 and you can make 200 at the end of the day. Then that's a good return on your money. So yeah, and so Cheryl's a good example of doesn't have to spend a whole lot of money because she gets organic traffic basically for free and word of mouth and the Google keywords. And she's a good example. You don't have to spend money to get traffic. And I know Steve, you must have spent some money on buying traffic, haven't you?
Oh, I've spent plenty of money on traffic.
But it's paid off for you, hasn't it?
Yeah. There's, like you said, there's tricks to everything. There's ways to do it right and there's ways to do it wrong. You can waste a ton of money on paid traffic if you're not buying traffic in a smart way. I mean, I could give you a dozen different ways to spend money on traffic. I have a couple of favorites. One of my favorites is other people's lists. So part of building a business is building a list, right? You want to build an email list on the web, online of people, like people that are interested in learning more about your business, your product, your opportunity, your website, whatever it might be. You want to build a list that you can market to later. Well, there's lots of other marketers out there that are building their own list also. So one of the things you can do is what's called a solo ad. And you can go to these other guys and say, hey, you know, I'm willing to pay this much per click if you'll send my offer to your list. And, you know, they'll guarantee you a certain number of clicks. And those clicks, if you have a good funnel in place, a nice looking capture page that's going to, you know, cause them to take action, you can get 40, 50, even 60% opt-in rate into your list, people clicking on your offer, and you're paying them a negotiated rate per click. But there's quality traffic and there's poor quality traffic, so you want to make sure you do your homework when you're choosing solo ads. And you can just Google, you know, how to choose a good solo ad. There's a slew of information out there. I've written probably a half a dozen blogs on solo ads alone. But solo ads, using other people's lists, is a great opportunity to market something new to a fresh list instead of continuing to beat up your own list. So solo ads, one of my favorite paid traffic strategies.
And solo is spelled S-O-L-O, correct?
S-O-L-O, like the red cup. Everybody knows that one.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's solo because it's one time.
Right.
Yeah, you're basically renting out the list.
Exactly.
And about how much, I know it varies based on the list you're sending to, but what kind of price ranges are we talking about per click, would you say, in your experience?
I think standard is probably anywhere from like 70 to 90 cents. I won't pay over $1 a click, that's for sure. And when you start getting into the cheaper clicks, you start running into cheaper traffic. So sometimes that old adage, you get what you pay for, is sometimes true, because if you're paying a cheap amount for clicks and then they don't convert or they don't sell, then you've basically just wasted your money. You bought cheap clicks, but you got no results from it.
Exactly.
So that's why you want to do a little homework. You want to make sure you're getting quality traffic. You can even ask these guys, hey, where are your clicks coming from? What is your source? Rarely will they tell you their exact source, but they can tell you whether these are opportunity seekers, if they're home business opportunity seekers, if they're product buyers, previous buyers. So you can get a little bit of information before you decide whether you want to buy a round of solo ads from these guys. You can also start small and then scale up depending on your results.
That's it. Good point. That's good. Thanks, Steve. Jorge.
There's some various things here, points to clear out. For us to generate traffic, at the end of the day, your biggest asset in your business is going to be your list, because that's the list. That's your potential clients. So you have to take good care, and you want it the best quality possible. Now, you could put solo ads, and that's fine. I'm in the mindset that, you know what, I think more strategic. I think long term. It's like in advertising on TV. I do advertising for my job 9 to 5. I could put one ad today, and that's it. How many times do you watch TV, you see one TV commercial, and you never see it again? You have to think long term. So you place several times the same ad or very similar ads so people can get to know you. You get that authority, that credibility down the line. So it's called consistency. You have to be consistent to time. So you have to manage your budget, your advertising budget, in a way that, you know what, it's not a one-shot thing, it's several shots, 5 shots, 10 shots, 15 shots. So again, very strategic. Know what your target audience is, either free or paid. Now, what Cheryl said, and you said, Simon, as well, you have to know where, as you as a client would look, and how would you look that up, either on the website, on Google, on the blogs, etc., etc. So that's what's going to give you a quality target audience. That's what's going to generate quality traffic for you, because like Dr. Steve said, you could put a cheap ad. Yes, great, fantastic. You spend 10 cents an ad and you put 500 or whatever. But the traffic, the people, the quality of people that you want to attract is going to be terrible. So you're wasting, at the end of the day, you're wasting your money. And it's all about, I mean, if you're in a business, the goal of a business is one, to make money. That's it.
Yeah, excellent point. You're in business to make money, not to just throw it away.
Exactly. That's why you're in
I'm
business.
gonna, I'm gonna wrap up. Sorry, was there something else you wanted to add, Jorge? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, great. I'm going to wrap up this one with paid traffic for Facebook. I love Facebook advertising. I'll give you two examples. The most recent one, I've been doing some consulting for my CPA. He works here in town, and he's been doing my taxes for a couple of years. And anyway, he did my taxes this year and said, oh, because he looked at my tax return and goes, oh, you're doing social media advertising as a consultant. He goes, yeah, because I need to speak to you about that. So we sat down at Starbucks about 3 weeks ago, and we talked about certain niches of clients. And we come up with one very interesting niche of clients, because you can't just target everybody, because everyone should pay taxes. But we came on this one target niche group that he likes right now is people who are delinquent in filing their tax returns. Some of them haven't filed returns in years, and they're just scared to death for the IRS. So I put a very strategic ad on Facebook, ran it for just about 3 days, and I think on maybe the fourth day, he got a phone call from a guy who saw the ad that I put up on Facebook, and this guy, well, he needs a lot of help. So my CPA friend, he said, basically his message out there on Facebook, and by the way, the ad cost me, I think, $43. Okay, $43, and you can't get your tax return done anywhere. No CPA would even touch you for anywhere close to $43. We're talking, if you're a business owner, it's what, at least $1,000 to $3,000 for a good-sized business return. Well, here's a guy that has some challenges, let's say, with the IRS. So his fee to help this guy out is going to be quite significant. So he spent $40 or $43 on Facebook to get this one client, and we just did a very, very small sample. I mean, $40 over 3 or 4 days. So imagine if you let this run all year and in different target niches throughout the entire year in different cities. And that's a CPA. The other one I'll throw in there, just to blow your mind, and no, if this is something of use to you that makes sense, we can go into more depth in a later webinar. That we can go through Facebook advertising. But a realtor friend of mine spent, I think, about $500 over the period of a month and got 6 contracts, 6 listings, and you go figure out how much the average listing is worth. So let's call it even $1,000. If you spend $1,000 in 1 month to get 6 listings, wouldn't you think that's worth it? So that's my 2 examples for that, and we're coming up to the end of the time, the bottom of the hour, and let's just quickly go around for last comments. Dr. Steve.
The biggest piece of advice I could give when you're trying these strategies is it's trial and error. You got to find the strategy that works best for you, that's the best fit for what it is that you're trying to promote. You're going to make some mistakes. You'll probably waste a little bit of money, but that's all part of the learning process. And, Jorge mentioned something earlier. It's like, each of us has our favorites. Like Simon, you mentioned Facebook advertising. I love Facebook advertising too, but some of these can be more complicated for the newbie versus the easier things. Like solo ads are probably easier than Facebook advertising. Social media is probably easier than SEO, but they can all be learned. You just have to be willing to learn the one that you want to pursue. Pick one, learn as much as you can about it, get good at it, and then start driving traffic.
Good point. Cheryl?
Yeah, just to reiterate what Dr. Steve said, I mean, I know when I was first starting out in the internet world, I really wondered, why isn't anybody seeing my stuff? But I realized that my website was on the equivalent of like a side street where a storefront is dark and people don't necessarily walk down the sidewalk that way. So once I realized that and got the proper training, got the proper tools, it really put my blog and my website out there on the main street where everybody could pass by and see. So I want to encourage those of you who are newbies, who are advanced, who are intermediate, or even just just barely you just got your website set up. Connect with one of us. We'll have our Facebook links around for you, and connect with one of us and just ask questions. Get around people who do what you want to do and just ask questions.
That's it. Good point. Jorge?
And continue with the newbies. I mean, don't get discouraged because you think of advertising, you have to spend a lot of money. Think of it more of who is your target audience, who you want to go after. So, because you could take leverage from paid advertising or free advertising. The most important thing is know who you're going after. So, use all these tools that are available for you and ask people that know, like Dr. Steve, Cheryl, Simon, me, that can help you out. We could guide you very easily in that part. So that's not don't worry about, worry about the money, but don't freak out about the money. You need a lot of money just to spend to advertise. That's not necessary. You got to be smart about it, not expend it.
I just have to echo those. I think like Cheryl, I tried so many things at one time, and because my focus was scattered, I had no focus and no results. So we've learned quite a lot over the past several years about how to market using social media, free and paid. So don't be afraid to get back with the person that invited you tonight, because we've been there, we've figured out what works and what doesn't work. Are we the experts? Heck no. We're still learning this stuff. But don't go out there on your own, wasting your money or your time, your efforts. Get back to the person who invited you here tonight, because we're here for you to help you get you through the minefield of what it takes to be successful in business, especially on social media these days. It's so much that changes. You can't find it in the book. By the time the book hits the bookshelf, it's old, right? It's gone, right? It changes like this. So with that, again, we always appreciate you showing up here. That tells us a lot about who you are. Tune in next Tuesday, same back time, same back channel. Appreciate everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.